Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to another live edition of This is Tom's World. I know that I have not had a recorded video in between the two live sessions, but uh, I was kind of thwarted in making videos this past weekend, and I hope to rectify that in the weekend to come. There is a place that I would like to go to, and I was just waiting for the right time to go to it so that I could bring my goddess along with me to go on that adventure. This past Sunday, she could not do so as she was volunteering at a benefit. So yeah, we'll go next Sunday on that adventure. But as I hinted about in the description of this, yes, I found new stuff in Sarobia, and hey, Kate, how are you? Michael, how you doing? So yes, I found new stuff in Serbia. I mean, it's not monumental stuff. Some of it I've known about for a little while. I just had a hard time finding some of it. When I went back, I was shown by one of our patrons there over at the park of a place that it's actually that part of it has nothing to do with Sarobia and more to do with the day camp that was there. But some of the stuff that I found just yesterday is most definitely part of Sarobia. What's up, Naomi? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. And I love seeing people interact in the chat. That's awesome. So yeah, the new stuff that I found, I think, is directly related to Blossom Farley's tower, which, as we all know, if you've been following my videos when I talk about it, that was located over near the bathrooms, and there was some conflict. What's up, Chris? If only I had a little submarine. I'm not going to make my own and go underwater because we all know what happened with the last group of people that did that. So we're not going to talk about that though. Man, more snow over there, man. Didn't you guys just get dumped on last week? I think it was. There's been some conflict between the gentleman that wrote the book on Sarobia. And for those of you that don't know, yes, there is a book out there that was written, and it has some old pictures in it, slides that the gentleman got from somebody that grew up there, but also worked at the Historical Society that was housed in the carriage house, I believe, over at the park. So it's called Sarobia. You know what? I want to get this right because this is like one of the first times, not the first time, but one of the first times that I am mentioning it. And I have met the gentleman that has written this book a few times. I just haven't seen him in a while, but he used to come by the park quite often. Let me see here. So it's called Sarobia, Sanctuary for Human Beings, Birds, and Animals. And the reason why it's called that is because that is what was on the sign, the entrance to Sarobia, that was over at Winks Lane and State Road. And the guy that wrote the book, his name is Mike. He seemed to think that it was, I think it was him. I'm almost positive it was him, that he seemed to think the path that led from the garden that kind of went next to where the barn was, the only surviving building that's still there, it kind of curves up around there and goes up to the bathrooms, where the bathrooms are on your left. I think it was him that said that he believes that the tower was there. It was either him or one of the volunteers, but I'm pretty sure it was him. And I had believed, just based on pictures that I've seen, how it was in relation to the barn in some of the pictures, that it was more on the other side of that trail. And I think I may have found proof of where it was. Now, the first bit of proof that I had found some time ago is that right in front of where that would have been, if I was right, there's a rhododendron growing there. and it has no business being there. They don't grow just randomly. If they did, there'd be more of them in the park. And they did use rhododendrons in the garden, so they were using them on the property. It never really grew real big, but I was able to identify it using one of those apps. Let's see, what are we missing here? Well, both, really. When I was coming back from my sit down time in the garden yesterday after my failed attempt at videos, um, I was walking up that very same trail I was just talking about that leads up from the garden past that little building and up to the bathrooms. And as I looked to my right, I noticed that some of the land, which is normally pretty, has a lot of brush and stuff like that. Now that things are going into their hibernation mode, I noticed some areas that have a lack of growth and stuff like that. And I knew that there was a couple pieces of concrete back in there between that area and the Playmasters building. And I decided to go back and look at it again because it had been some time because of how bushy it got during the summer. So I went and I started looking around and I started finding more stuff than what I had found before. Even more so, what looks like they could have been slabs of concrete, not just one, not just two. I think I found like 5 of them, maybe 6. And it could be parts of what was the foundation of the tower, because Blossom Farley supervised the making of that. And I'm sure he wanted to do it as quickly and cheaply as he could without risking the safety factor. So let me catch up here because I see a bunch of comments going on here. There we go. Oh wait, I missed Nomi's here. Snowed 3 times in 1 week. Wow. I'm so glad that we have had a lack of snow, and I say that and I knock on wood, hoping that we still have a lack of snow this year. I don't miss deep snow. When I was a kid, I loved it, but as an adult now, it sucks. If I want to see deep snow, I'll go up further north, up into the Poconos or something. A shrubbery. There you go. Let's see. Now go away or I will taunt you a second time. I know I miss Chris Mallon. Oh, dude. What's going on, brother? We're all just going off on Monty Python now. What was it? What was the quote? And your father smelled of elderberries or something like that. It's just escaping my mind. Normally, I'm pretty up on that stuff, but right now it's been a long day. Yeah, I remember the storm of '96. I most certainly do. That was when my son's mother was pregnant with him, and I was trapped at her house. And I was out front helping the neighbors shovel out. I remember that quite clearly. But so yeah, I found some stuff. I did take some pictures, and I'm going to be bringing them up momentarily. I didn't take pictures of every one of the slabs that I found, but the slabs were probably, and I'm just guesstimating, probably about 1.5 feet wide by about double that size long. So whatever the actual width was, the length was like double the size. I know that's what she said. Boom, boom. Anyway, I fart in your general direction. I'm off my game tonight with the accents. But so yeah, so it was exciting for me to find these because like I said, I knew there were a couple pieces of concrete that were just kind of chilling back there that I thought were probably part of like either a bird bath or another sundial, because there was quite a few of them on the property, or one of those stands that would hold the glass globe type ball things that you see in gardens, because they had them there too. But I suspect, after looking at it and seeing what I saw, the additions of what I saw, that they may have all been part of the tower, because they're closer to where the tower was, in my opinion, and they're not so close to where the barn was. So they would have had to have been bringing them few pieces further away from the barn than they needed to. I know that they buried most of it after it burned down. They hauled away a good deal of things. But like the charred wood and all that, why haul that away? Just bury it and nature will take care of it and it'll become compost. I'm catching up on comments here. Yeah. The Mikes lived there at that time. It was early in their time there too. Yeah, because they were still there after Tommy was born, so that had to be early on. Nee. That's kind of more like Curly. John Byrne Golf Course. I'm not sure. I know where John Byrne is. Is that the one on Grand Ave? Life of Brian, The Meaning of Life. You got to watch them all. If you're going to do one, you might as well just binge watch them all. Ain't always look on the bright side of life. It's probably one of the first times I ever sang on my live feed. There you go. So, all right, let me get these pictures ready here. And I will show you all what I saw. There's not as many as I thought. I thought I took more pictures in this, but still, there's a decent amount. It's in your head now, Kate? It was in my head. There's a local radio station here in Philly. Before I do the pictures. So this local radio station, WMGK 102.9, they had a DJ who just recently, I'd say more of a morning show host, who just recently retired. He used to be on another station back in the 80s on WMMR 93.3, and his name's John DeBella. Now, while he was on 102.9 in the last part of his career, he ended every single show with that song. So it was always in my head. If I happened to be in the vehicle or hearing a radio around 9 a.m., it was being played and it was in my head. And it still is. The Crater. Oh, there you go. All right, so let me bring these up, and while I have these up, I won't be able to see the comments once I get these up here. Yeah, Nomi listened to John on MMR. He was part of the morning zoo, but I think most towns had like a morning zoo radio program. He never really changed as he got older. His appearance changed. Look up John DeBella and like John DeBella 2023, you'll be like, whoa, what the hell? But his voice never changed. His attitude never changed. Maybe a little less edgy as he got older, but not much. Yep. Yeah, he just retired. All right, let's see. Share screen. All right. So here we have, let me switch over to that so you can see my little mouse. It gets a little lost in the leaves there. But so this is, it's almost like rounded on the top. So this isn't one of the slabs. I don't believe this may have been the first slab that I came across. It's hard to tell from the picture, but this one is a little bit longer than the one in the last picture. And this is just hiding in the leaves. I had to kick the leaves around. Now this rock, this one is interesting because it very closely resembles rocks that I found when I did the Byberry Fairgrounds, Byberry Fairgrounds video, where it was like the Philadelphia County Fair that went on there and everything. And there were these darker colored rocks. I think they were darker than this one, but it was the same type of surface on it, how it's got like little cracks and stuff like that in it. Like, but also once I went around to the other side of it and I kicked around the leaves, much like those rocks over at that fairgrounds, I saw notches cut into the rocks. So this was definitely used for something in a building. And this is much closer to where the tower was, in my opinion. I have to keep saying in my opinion, just in case I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. It's much closer to where that was than the barn was. So I don't know. I don't know what, and I can't see if anybody's commenting on it. I don't know what these notches would have been for. And I didn't know when I saw them over at the fairgrounds either. But obviously this stone has been cut and cut into as well. Now you have this. This one's a little tougher to tell because I couldn't really, the leaves were all stuck in the vines that are growing across this. But if you look, you can see there's like a core part in the middle, and then didn't mean to zoom in, and then like an outside part down here. So as if like this part, it could have been part of a pillar, but it could have also been underground and means of support. Like this part, the wider part down here would have been the bottom, and this part down here would have been more towards the top. And I say that because in these other pictures, you can see this one, obviously it's flat. It's I think it's at least 3-sided. It might have been 4-sided, but they're flat on all sides. And then you have this, which is obviously was just poured into the ground. So they like dug it out and they poured this into the ground. So this was definitely a support of some kind. Now, it can be said that might have been for the barn. It's possible. But again, we're closer to where I believe the tower was. And here's another one. And you could definitely see the the sharp angle right there. And it did not it was broken off down here, so it did not have a base at this time. I mean, maybe it's under the ground. I plan on inspecting this area much more thoroughly very soon. And here, this is the last picture. So this is one of the slabs that I found. And I found multiple slabs, and they were a good distance apart from each other. So they could have been the area where like a foundation or something, or some kind of supporting beam or something for the tower could possibly have been, because there was never anything else built on this side. On the other side of the Logan Walk Trail, yes, because there was small houses on the other side of that. On this side, though, I don't believe there was any. And even if there was, the random slabs, instead of it being whole pieces of concrete, and it's not like it was one big concrete platform. These are angled and cut like intentionally. They're not broken pieces. These are whole pieces of the slabs. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be investigating this a lot more. Let's see. Let me catch up on the comments. Wow, I got a little ways behind, didn't I? Oh yeah, the morning zoo and Stern Moors. Yes, I remember them, and then I remember Howard Stern, and it's even in his movie Private Parts. They actually had a funeral for John DeBella because he lost. But yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's me. I got to get one of those hats. I got to get an Indiana Jones hat. Maybe start wearing that. Get one and superimpose impose a little Tom's World symbol on it. It it was not part of a gate system, because if it was, then there would have been holes through the concrete to like to house the braided wires or whatever they might have used. Those notches are from a quarry when they drill. Oh, okay. So it was intentionally put there one way or another. Granite as foundation. Well, but this is cement. This is what I found on those slabs is definitely cement. It's like cement and little stones mixed in and stuff like that. Um, wow, I'm still nowhere near catching up here. Yeah, I did a little bit of metal detecting in the garden. I borrowed my uncle's metal detector. It's not like top of the line or anything like that, but all I was finding was like bottle caps, pool tabs, things like that. Nothing interesting. A couple quarters, stuff. Nothing old. Yeah, I know a lot of places just in this park that I'd like to go, and I see guys metal detecting there, but they go to the wrong spots. They're going to the picnic areas to look for anything that the picnickers may have dropped. You might find a little something or other, but you're better off going to the older areas. I mean, keep in mind, William Penn used to own this land. I mean, he owned most of the land, but still. Okay. And hey, just to let you know, the video that I failed at making this past Sunday, so yesterday, was going to that graveyard that you had pointed out to me, over by Erdrich Street, and I got the chance, even though it was too windy and the way the sun was setting would have made it impossible for me to film. I did get to talk to a maintenance guy there, the guy that takes care of the land there, and I asked him if that was part of the cemetery for the Episcopal Church, and he said yes, it is. I said, well, I wonder why they made a road going right down the center of it that just ends right there. He said, that I can't tell you. He said, but I know that we take care of that too. That's part of ours. Then I went and I tried to read. You could barely read any of the stones there, the ones that aren't broken or sunken into the ground. But I still would like to go back there at some point when the conditions allow. But I'm going to check it out. Thank you for that. Hey, you'd have to get some off-road wheels on that chair though. And make it like electric. There you go. You could, well, hey, you could, if you're going to do that, you could put detectors like all around it so that the detectors go out like, like maybe a foot from the chair, but have the coils on the end of it that are about a foot long. So, but that, are going to be far enough away from the chair that the chair, it won't detect the chair unless you make it out of something other than a metal that can be detected. All kinds of ideas around this, man. Yep. Erdrich Street. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I did go check it out. So it's I know of it and I've been there physically. I just was not able to make a video. I mean, it was for that particular time it was really windy. But then when I went back to the garden, by the time I got there, it was fine, which is kind of weird. But I've been earlier today. I was looking up older aerial views and stuff of places, finding new sites to look at with that, and I got to see what the shoreline looked like along the Chamonix State Park before they did the dredging and the filling in and all that stuff. It was definitely a little more interesting, but not that much different, really. You could still make out where they were going to go with it, because there was like a little island that went around and then came out going towards Dunks Ferry Road. Kind of, it was like an arm that just kind of came out and went around, but it was pretty cool looking. I mean, the photos aren't of the best quality, obviously, if they're from the 30s, but you can still make out a lot of stuff. I was able to make out my grandparents' house long before they moved into it, so it was pretty cool. It certainly is, and you can fish pretty much anywhere you want. But I will tell you, if you're going to fish at the park, the best thing to do is to walk down towards the river. Don't go in the big open part of the river where there's like that big tree that's fallen. It's been there forever. Um, Go if you're looking at the river, look look to your left. There's a trail that goes along the river line and into the woods. Go in there. There are tons of spots that you can stop in there, and you'll be a little more secluded, so you'll have more privacy while you just relax and fish. It's not a lot of people utilize that, oddly enough. Yep, really. Yeah, I never actually got out and stood around there. I mean, I've driven past it. I couldn't tell you how many hundreds of times. Um, I would love to get in there though and make a video in there. That would be nobody's done that. I've seen people that took pictures in there and they were actually able to get inside the prison buildings, which it's not safe to do because of the mold and mildew backup that's in there from it not being up like kept up and stuff like that. But just to be able to go around in the courtyard there and peek in windows and stuff, that would make an awesome video because I've not seen any of those unless I mean, I know I've looked for it, but I can't remember ever seeing any, and it would be awesome. Creekside, down down towards where the creek and the river meet. Not exactly there, but a little further up the creek, away from the river. You'll come across like a little bridge that we made, and by we I don't mean me, I just mean the park, that goes over a little like a small wetland preserve, if you want to call it that. I forget what they called it exactly. Um, but there are a few areas around there that are actually pretty good. Those places I have seen some people go down there, but not many. A toll bridge, huh? Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And there's a lot of places, even places I've been to, places I've yet to be, that would probably be ripe for metal detecting. I mean, I'm sure some people may have tried to hit the places over there, but you can't get every spot of every place. Um, like all around the Penryn Mansion. Um, if you go down further without trespassing near the Biddle Estate, like Andalusia House, um, anywhere where there's been mansions, I'm sure you're not allowed to metal detect in Glen Ford, but maybe near there on the shore, might find something. But if it's on the shore, chances are it's not original to there. Um, Along the creeks, I'm sure there's plenty of places because there were well, there were Native Americans that lived along the creeks, the Pequesson Creek, Byberry Creek, Tacony Creek, like all those, Pennypack. And although I'm sure Pennypack has been metal detected more times than anyone can count, but you never know what you could find there. No problem, man. And in case anybody missed the news, I am back to work now. I was only out of work for a couple of weeks after the season ended for the seasonal workers, but now am full time, so I'll be there year round. And if you see me, don't be shy. Say hi. I may not be able to talk very long if I'm busy. Um, I may not be able to talk at all. I might be able to just say hi and move on. All depends on the day. See, if you fish at the mouth of the creek when the tide is coming in, yeah, that stands to reason. Yeah, there's actually depictions of that on some signs that used to be up in the park. Um, we have recently come across these signs, and we might be putting them back out. But there's uh, like a drawn thing of showing them, like, so they would set up nets going across. So when the tide was high, they'd come in, and then when the tide was going out, they'd get trapped in there, and it was easier to catch them. But the tide, when it came in, would be over the net, so they'd swim right over it. Yeah, well, there you go. That's what I was just saying. Yep. Yeah, there's a illustration. That's the word I was missing there. There's an illustration of that on one of the boards that we've recently found again. Yeah, I'm sure they would. Not as much as using dynamite, but still probably, yeah. There you go. But not only metal will you find along the creeks and stuff like that, but which I'm sure a lot of the metal that you'll find along the creeks, because of all of us over the generations partying in the woods, are going to be like pull tabs and bottle caps and stuff like that. But if you look carefully enough and you know what you're looking for, you will still find spearheads from the Native Americans that lived around here. I believe the tribe that lived around here, most of it was called Lenape. Lenape. Yes, that's it. And matter of fact, over at the Chamonix Mall, the Indian that was on the fountain, the Native American that was on the fountain, I believe he was supposed to be part of the Lenape tribe or somehow related to them. Steam locomotives, they're pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind touring a place that might have that, or like a boneyard of them would be cool. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to learn. If they didn't learn, then they wouldn't have survived with dynamite. Well, it's hard to say because there haven't really been many new Looney Tune uh, cartoons. Although I think, didn't I hear that they're supposed to be doing another Space Jam? I think I heard that. Or did they already come out with that? I think it was just recently I heard that in the last year or so. So the Acme company may be back. Yeah, 100 years from now, they're going to be like, What's Natty Ice? Yeah, I don't remember that. Of course, in '85, I was 10 years old, so I probably wasn't paying too much attention to the news at the time. It's one of the few times I feel young. Really? That's pretty awesome. I mean, there are people that do metal detecting videos on YouTube that I watch that are always looking for cannonballs, but they mostly Civil War relics. Acme. I think of Acme. I think of a food store. I always did, even when I was a kid. And they would. I'm thinking, man, the food store sells rockets. The hell? In a tree? Damn. Like embedded in the tree? Like the tree just enveloped it? That would be really awesome. I would love to come across something like that while I'm making a video, and the views would just skyrocket, because if I found something like that, I would hint to it in the thumbnail of the video and the description and the title. Damn, that is awesome. Yeah, well, see, here in this house, uh, and I'm sure at some point in my dad's life, he was, we've all drank Bud and stuff, but I don't think he ever kept it in the house. For a long time, he's been more of a Canadian beer man. Um, Trying to remember when I was a kid, or not a kid, but I will say young teenager. I know, um, from that point forward, about like 10 years, he drank Moosehead, and before that, he did drink Molson Golden, and now we've moved on to Molson Ice. So, but yeah, I did my share of drinking of crap beers in basements and in the woods. There's woods not too far from here that run, um, from on one side of the Pequesson Creek to the other, and then on the other side, it's where the Woodhaven Mall is, or I guess they call it the Home Depot Shopping Center or whatever they call it now. But it's always going to be the Woodhaven Mall, just like Franklin Mills is always going to be Franklin Mills and never going to be Philadelphia Mills, no matter how much they push that Philadelphia Mills crap on us. It's always going to be Franklin Mills. I mean, I can still remember when it was the Liberty Bell racetrack. I was actually in there with my mom a couple times, so I do remember it, and I do like really strongly remember that sign that just sat out there for all the years that it was closed down. Right there by Woodhaven and Millbrook Road. There was a sign there. I think there was one out on Knights Road as well. It was like an oval sign. See if I can find that real quick. Look up images here. Come on, there's got to be a picture of the sign somewhere. I know I've seen it on Facebook. Maybe if I put it in quotes so it looks for the whole thing instead of just parts of it. Well, I found an old black and white one, but that's not the one I remember. It was a newer sign than that one. Let's see if I can find the newer one. I can't. All right. Well, then let's. Well, this image isn't very big at all. I have to make that larger. Then come back here and share this real quick. I see I have more comments. I'll check them momentarily. So there you go. That actually looks like the one that was out on Knights Road. I could be wrong, because much like there's an entrance on both sides of the mall right now, there was an entrance for that on both sides. But let me real quick do a search on Facebook. Yeah. Wow. Let's see. They're all the same sign. Let me open image and new tab. Come back here and share that one. That's the wrong button, Tom. Share screen. This is the one I was used to seeing with the little horse and the guy on the carriage, little carriage thing behind the horse. That sat out there for the longest time. And this might have been the one at Millbrook. I don't know. That could have been the one at Knights Road too. Here, let me close that out. Catch up on my comments here. Clay Mountain. What is Clay Mountain? What did I miss here? I don't know where that came from. They came out with a new Space Jam. Yeah, I think they're making another one, and they're saying it was better than the other remake or whatever it was. Yeah, Keystone Racetrack. I remember that when it was still that, and they just had like the one building there basically, and that was where you went in for all your racing needs and stuff like that. And I'm sure they had bars in there. I don't know. I was kind of young then, but I do remember going there with my dad. They had an annual horseshoe tournament there, and my dad sitting in the basement somewhere are about 5 or 6 trophies where he got like first place in the horseshoe competition. And they had like a petting zoo and like one of those slides you go down in a potato sack. Rick and Morty made an appearance in Space Jam. That would be funny if they took it. Well, it being Space Jam, they couldn't really take it too far with them. Silo. That was out on the boulevard, right near Comley and the Boulevard, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, sure. You can either email me or send it to my Tom's World Facebook. I forgot to put that stuff in the description of this video, so shame on me. But you can go to any other video, or it's on my main page. But it's just facebook.com/this is Tom's World, like all one word. But let me know when you do. I think my email should also be in the about section of the channel. I'm not sure though. That's the sign you remember. See, you remember my neighborhood. Two guys. Peach's record store. That does sound familiar, but I can't picture where that was. Oh. Huh. Like to get up to the mall, you mean? Because I know going from the creek to the back of the mall, there is a somewhat steep hill there. Of course, there's houses there now. So, yeah, the house is behind the Woodhaven Mall, if you can believe that. I wouldn't want to live there. The carnival where? Let's see. Did I miss where we were? We mentioned so many locations. I know there used to be a carnival at Franklin Mills, but I don't think they come around anymore. Well, I would call it Liberty Bell Racetrack, but I hung out there a lot as a teenager at Franklin Mills. Me and a bunch of the other metalheads used to hang out in the back of the 49th Street Galleria. Good times. Ice City. I can't say I remember that. Of course, I didn't make my way around Pottstown too much. Oh, it was in the Franklin Mills Mall. Oh, over near where Heckinger's used to be, which is now, I forget what that's called now. What the hell is that place called? I can't remember. Oh, at Liberty Bell Racetrack. Really? I don't remember carnivals there, but again, I was pretty young when they closed down. I mean, Franklin Mills was made in what, 87? And in 87 I was 12. So yeah, I really don't. Okay. So back in the back streets, sort of over by where the playground is and Fitzpatrick, like kind of back there, not right there, but kind of back there. My goddess just sent me a message. I will check that momentarily. And they also built homes down by Station Ave, like next to Penn Rin, that road that goes down to the river there, and it used to be a river access. Now I don't think anybody uses it because it's fallen apart. But going down that road, they have houses on the left side at the track. I don't. I can't say I remember. I mean, maybe I was at a carnival there. It's hard to say. Harbor Freight. Hmm. Um, so it's tnally75 at gmail.com. TNALLY 75 at gmail.com. Let me see what my goddess said real quick here. Okay. Come back here to the chat. Well, I probably heard it, especially if it was during the day. I was probably out and about playing around here. I mean, we started living in this area around 77. So I was pretty much here most of my life. I was 2 when we moved here. Chalfont. Yeah. Yeah, back there. It's Creek. There's been a couple of times where I found myself saying Crick, and I stopped and corrected myself. My girlfriend caught me one time and thought it was funny. I said, "No, no, it's not. I may be Philadelphian, but I'm not giving into that one." So for for those of you who were not here earlier, I showed some pictures that I took over at Neshaminy State Park, and I suspect that these could possibly be remnants of the tower. I'm going to be looking more into that, most definitely. Oh, I am proud of where I grew up. I just refuse. I mean, look, it's Creek. Where do you get crick from that? Crick is something you get in your neck. I don't know. It's just something embedded in my head. This is true. This is true. And I always do. Well, it depends on the context. Um, like Route 1. It's not Route 1. Although that would be the proper way to say it, but it's Route 1. But then I could say, well, this isn't the route that we took. Then that makes sense to say it that way. Maybe that's just me. Oh, well, I've pronounced that one both ways. Let me think about this. I would say caramel, not caramel, even though caramel is more the correct way to pronounce it, but I would say caramel. Well, I can't help it. I do say water, water. It depends. There was times in my life where I spent some time upstate, like a couple weeks or whatever, with my family in Erie, and when I came back, I found myself saying water, but that was the extent of it. A stream, well, a stream is bigger than a creek, in my opinion. It's water. Caramel. Right. Well, no. Caramel. I know. No, that's a turnpike. There's no T in the middle there. Turnpike. The only time you would have the T in the middle with the word turn is like if you get turned up, it's hey man, we getting turned up in here. I say sink. I don't say zinc, but I think the saying zinc was more of a older school thing, like people in the generation above mine or a couple generations above mine. That road is turned up, man. Well, I would guess that a stream and a brook could be the same. In my mind, a brook is smaller than a stream, but the thing that a brook has that a stream doesn't is that it babbles. Streams don't babble. Never hear the term babbling stream. Although I can't think of anything even remotely close to here that I would classify as a brook. I mean, you got a river, you got a stream, you got a creek, which in some cases a creek can get pretty big. I do believe the Tacony Creek gets pretty big at one point. I don't think. Well, I mean, I guess the Pequesing Creek gets deep at some points, but not big. I turned the pike, man. Well, if they're largemouth, then well, that's bass, not trout. Well, trout get largemouth. I don't know. It all depends, Every fish is different. I'm full of dad jokes, trust me. And sometimes they come out and I don't even control it. I mean, I have been a dad now for some time. And my son was born when I was 21, and now I'm 48. So go figure that. The turlet. I don't think we say turlet. But I have heard people use that before, and in serious context too. Like when they're serious and they pronounce things like that, that's when it really gets me, and I have to really control myself and not laugh. But I guess real quick, I can show these images again, just for those who may not have seen them. Let me bring them up. And that's the wrong thing. And here we go. Share screen. Really quick. All right. So this was it's either a slab or it was part of a curved thing. Like that's more like shaped like a slab right there. But I did find concrete slabs in the ground. This is not one of them. This one's shaped more like a triangle, at least what's sticking out of the ground anyway. And this was what was on the backside of it, as I've come to realize that these little notches here came from where they drilled to separate the rock. I did not know that, so I've learned something new tonight. This was another piece where it seems that like this part was surrounding this part and it's just breaking free of it. Could have been some kind of support. Here's another one. This is like what was underground right here. And this is what was above ground. Because it was shaped, obviously, it's like either 3 or 4 sided. Here's another one that did not have a base like that one did. It was broken off there. So that the base of that is probably still sitting in the ground somewhere. And then we have this, which it's hard to tell because of the dirt that's on top of it, but I didn't have a broom. I did my best. But you can see the shape of it is a definite rectangle, and all of it is exposed except for the very edge all the way around because the leaves kept blowing back on. But I found like 5 or 6 of these, or 4, no, definitely 5, maybe 6, not sure. And I suspect that this is where the tower was that Blossom Farley lived in. The same guy that lived in the underground, who made a series of 15 rooms, all linked by hallways and stuff, and multiple entrances and exits from the underground. Someday we'll find something with that. I did in my early videos. If you go back in my early videos of going to the garden and stuff, I even take my camera and put it on a selfie stick and put it down the hole, and you get to see a bunch of those like cave crickets, camel crickets, whatever they're called, all over the ceiling and everything. And that has been demolished and sunken in because the park found out about it because somebody was going in and out of there way too much and digging it out and trying to beat Indiana Jones on their own. And before somebody got hurt, the park decided to just cave it in on itself and fill it in. Sucked, but at least I got some of it on video. Let's see. Every fish is different. Hey, if the doctors can tell my dad everybody's different, which they told him that so many times that we want to get a shirt made for him. And my mom even said tonight that we should definitely get that shirt made for him that says everybody's different and have him wear it to every doctor's appointment. Oops. Biscotti. This is true. Or it could be a sweet roll. Mm-hmm. How about that? Perhaps. Yeah, I do love the Boston creams and the eclairs. Oh my God. That's part of what the belly came from, is stuff like that. Most of what the belly came from was this stuff, but still, some of it was that. Oh, there were so many dirty jokes that could have come out of that, but I'm just leaving that alone. Sam Adams isn't bad. I actually prefer one of their beers that most people don't seem to like. I like the cherry wheat. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Cheers. Uh-oh. I said my mom's name, and here she is. Chat, meet mom, meet chat. John Adams. No, I don't play Skyrim. My son did. He got very into it, like the Elder Scrolls and all that. That's Skyrim, right? The Elder Scrolls. He got very into that. Gnomestead, Alaska says hi, Mom. Yeah, cherry wheat is good. The first time I went to my sister's house in the Poconos, it had to be back in 2007. Was my first time that I had it. Both my sisters were there, their husbands, and there was kids there and everything. And I think my son was there too. And they had a couple of different variety packs of Sam Adams, and the only things that were left were cherry wheat. And they're like, yeah, you can have as many of those as you want because none of us like them. I'm like, really? I said, all right, well, it's beer, alcohol. I'm in the mountains, might as well. And I tried. The first one was like a little like, and the second one, I was like, damn, that is really good. So I don't mind that at all. I usually don't like any kind of sweetness to the beer, but the cherry it's just so slight, the cherry taste, and I think it pairs well. Mom says hi, everybody. Patty wax. Wow. I remember that. Really? I don't think I've ever actually. Maybe once I went to the Humeville Inn. I mean, I've been near it. Obviously, I did a couple of videos in Humeville, and I've walked past it. And I still have more videos to do in that town as well, Humeville. Need to talk to some people and get some permission and stuff like that. But um, it looks like a pretty chill bar, I think. Hey, you know, I don't know. Cherry wheat wasn't bad. I like it. I mean, of course, I just like beer, not just any beer though. I'm a bad Irishman because I I don't like Guinness. I just don't. I don't like any of the craft beers either. They're all too hoppy, and too much hops gives me heartburn. So I don't really like that. But just your regular like lagers and stouts and stuff like that, I don't mind. But and my girlfriend, who is very Irish, um, she doesn't like Guinness either. So that's right. I'm an equal opportunity alcoholic. I'm not really an alcoholic, but still. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that I've never gotten so drunk off a beer that I puke, because I have. It's happened. It's happened to all of us. I mean, in the middle of a field or in the woods or whatever, you're drinking that warm beer in the summer, and it's going to come back up. But what you do, you rinse your mouth out with a mouthful of beer, spit it out, and then chug the rest. That's what we did. Molson is good. I will say that I like my Molson. Well, I don't want to get my butt kicked. Like, oh, look at this one. He's drinking Bud. I don't drink Bud here though, so Labatt, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. Let him know I said, hey, what's up? Well, we didn't think of that. We were too busy trying to drink it. Really? Well, Coors is crap. I'm sorry, but especially Coors Light. You might as well be having a water. But um, Miller, I like Miller. Miller High Life, MGD, Miller Light is my go-to beer at bars. But yeah, Yards is not bad. It's not bad. Let's see, what does Molson Ice have? All right, you'll have to excuse me while I turn into an old man for a second because I can't read the damn. Oh, Molson Ice is only 5.6, so you'd be all right. This is true. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Coors. I just don't like. I don't dig it. Miller Chiller. I remember Killian Red. Wow. And then there was a dog called Red Dog too. And what else? There was a couple of them that were like a little obscure that were only around for a little while that I did drink. Man, I haven't thought about Red Dog in forever. I may not be able to monetize that one because if it's a tasting, that might contain some colorful language. Sure, it's an AA meeting with beverages. It's like, oh, you thought this was Alcoholics Anonymous? No, 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 no. This is Alcohol Advocates. It's totally different. Was it a malt liquor? If it was, it wasn't a very heavy malt. I have to look that up. See if I'm thinking. I'll know when I see the label. Yeah, that's it. Red Dog is a beer produced by the Miller Brewing Company and is part of the Plank Road Brewery family. The beer contains 4.8% alcohol by volumes. It was introduced in '94. Let's see, does it say anything about it being a malt? Premium beer. No, it doesn't say anything about it being a malt. Let's look at this image. Uncommonly smooth premium beer. It doesn't say anything about it being malt. Yeah, well, we had our share of Natty Ice and all kinds of like obscure beers that were like cheaper. Yeah, look, I'll bring this up. Let me open this image in a new tab. Check out the label. Red Dog. Hey, I'm I can't say anything. Yeah, I don't think it was malt liquor. No, that's fine. That's fine. Really, I drank it. Where did I drink it? I think I started drinking it at what used to be called. It was called Papa John's at one point, and then they changed it to John's Boardwalk, and then it became Whiskey Tango. But I used to drink it there when I first started going there, and I also drank it at General Grant's. A friend of mine used to work there in the kitchen, and there was another bar, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I did drink it quite a bit. I enjoyed it. Well, see, you know what you should do is introduce your dad to This Is Tom's World, and you guys can share a case while you binge watch some of my videos. There's plenty of them, and more to come. Leinenkugels. Yeah, my sister likes the what is it? The summer shanty. They're one of their seasonal beers. I think that was Leinenkugels. She does like drinking that. I would get in serious trouble if I put that on my hats. I mean, I would love it. Maybe just the dog. Like I'll cut everything else out and just the dog and have him wearing this hat. Change his color a little. Which, speaking of my merch shop. Good looking out. Let me go grab the link real quick. Um, here we go. And let me stop the video that's playing that I got it from. And then grab the link here. Get rid of all this tracking stuff. Make it a simple link. There we go. So speaking of the merch shop, um, make sure you go check it out. Here is the link. Go get yourself some Tom's World gear. And hopefully that came through as a link for all of you. For me, it's just text. But, I've got plenty of stuff there. I think there might have been a sale going on. It might still be going on. Not sure. It's determined by the site. I mean, you can opt out of it, but I just always opt into all of them. So you check in frequently, see when there's sales going on, and get yourself some Tom's World gear. You can rock the hat. I got another hat that has like the banner image on there, just where it says "This is Tom's World. Come explore with me," and it's got a little version of this in the middle. I have Exploring His Life. I have nothing else right now, but I keep promising I'm going to be putting more stuff up, and I will. You spelled it wrong. But yeah, well, I sprinkle it in. Don't worry. I don't lose too much. I can't help it. I branch out. I could start off talking about bottle caps and I'll end up talking about like rocket science or something. Not that I know rocket science, but just reaching for the first thing that came to mind there. There you go. It's a conversation about nothing. Jerry, what are you talking about? That's what I'm talking about. That's right. I am. So you can see if you look up the articles or the article, I should say, that just recently came out by Carl Laveau. It's been shared to different sites and stuff, and it was his follow up to his article on Sarobia from back in 2016, 2017, somewhere in there, where he talked about the history. And my mom had actually reached out to him and let him know what's been going on there since then, and the effort between the volunteers and I to restore that place as best we can, which is just always an ongoing process. And there are some things in the works that we at the park are working on. They're not huge, but nice little additions that are going to be coming up soon, sometime in the next year or so. But then he decided to do the article on the update of it, and he also reached out to me and interviewed me a little bit, quoted me in the article, and shared my channel. And as a result, I wound up getting like 30, 40 some new subscribers. So anybody that might be watching right now that joined me because of that article, I thank you and welcome, and hope you are enjoying all the videos. A lot of time and effort go into making these videos and editing them. So, no, unfortunately, that would be really nice though. A bench that just says "This is Tom's World," and then underneath it says youtube.com/This is Tom's World. That would be great. But I mean, I have a feeling that most people that go to the garden already know about This is Tom's World. Not all of them. If everybody that went there knew about it, then I'd be getting recognized left and right. And it's only happened a handful of times. And I've had some people just randomly come to me while I'm working in the park, like doing trash and stuff like that, and be like, "Hey, Tom, I love your videos," and stuff like that. And it's always awesome to meet people that enjoy the videos that I make, which makes it all worth it. Most definitely does. Let me get rid of this. let me get rid of this picture here. I'm sitting here with that red dog thing up. People are going to be coming in like, why is there a red dog label up there? Had to be part of the earlier conversation, and I just forgot about it and wasn't really looking at the camera. Or I was looking at the camera, but not the screen, rather. we do need some. I mean, Mr. Laveau had said in his article that he is a little saddened at the lack of information about the garden, and I intend on reminding the park manager that the previous maintenance supervisor, my old boss, had said that he wanted to put what they call a kiosk up, which is basically just like a little billboard that has its own roof and it's like under lock and key, and plexiglass. And we were planning on putting one up there and being able to post stuff in there and put pictures and information. We'll see if she will still be on board with that. Yeah. I did. Isn't it great though? I mean, it not in a selfish way though. It makes you realize that you're reaching people, and it makes you feel good about what you're doing. And I love it. I mean, the first couple times it happened actually was before I started working for the park, and I was just still a volunteer working in the garden. And I had a couple of ladies come up, and they were talking to me and everything, and they asked if they could get a picture with me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." I mean, I was all sweaty and dirty and everything, but I never seen that picture resurface. But hey, it was nice. Oh, is it kicking off? Oh my God, I'm going to lose people. I've already lost people. I'm down to 8. I was up to I got 9 now. I was up to 11 or 12 there for a minute. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to watch some of that. In between, got to do some wash, and it's trash night, so I got to take the trash out and all that too. So, and before I get to bed, which means I'm not going to make the whole game because I got to be up at 5:30. I got to be in work tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a small town. That would be awesome. she was banned from the stadium. All right, Tony, man, take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. I always appreciate seeing you. You said sack. I've not yet done that, and just what was it? Just Friday when I was doing my live, somebody had mentioned about having like a group exploring thing. Now, I don't know about that. For all I know, it could be a group of people who have been talking in secret, and then wait till we get them in the woods alone and everything. Maybe I doubt that, but still, I would definitely be down to do a meet and greet in the garden. I mean, right now is not the best time of year to do it. I could, but it's getting a little colder out and stuff. People may not want to go. Oh, allergies and congestion and dried out. You gotta love it. I feel like I'm constantly going through allergies anymore. It's ridiculous. So just one more time, my link up for my merch shop. Make sure you guys go check that out, and make sure you support the channel in any way you can, even if it's just sharing out videos or the channel itself. You can always do, while the chat is live, you can always do a super chat or a super sticker. Any video has like a super thanks thing under it, where if you wanted to donate money, you could do that. But really, word of mouth and sharing out links works perfectly fine. But I do appreciate those who have given. You guys, like all of you, are awesome, awesome people. I love these chats and being able to talk to you. Are you leaving, Mom? I didn't. Just because I was saying all this doesn't mean I was leaving just yet. I'm waiting until I finish this beer. Right after this beer. That's a famous line in my family. We would be out, my parents and my sisters and I, and like say at my uncle's house or something like that, and we'd be like, "Are we gonna go?" And we'd be like, "Right after this beer," and his beer would be like this full, and then the next time you see him, the beer's like this full. It's like, oh, okay. So it's like an ongoing joke in the family. Man, my hair is getting curly. I really need to get this trimmed up. It's got a lot of dead ends, split ends, and out in the cold, it just like poofs up. I don't know. I've missed having long hair all these years. It's been a long time. My long hair was cut off when I was probably about 23, maybe 24. And then I had it cut short for a long time. Well, until just the last year and a half, I started growing it back. So it's a trip. The goddess has sent me a message, and I knew that's what it would be: a bunch of eagles, footballs, and green hearts. Let me see. I'll send her back a little gif. It's not a mullet though. And stop laughing, Chris. I know you're laughing when he said that. It's see a mullet, if you recall, the definition was business up front, party in the back, which meant it was all short in the front. Well, mine is not. It's long everywhere. It really needs to be cut though. See, I knew you'd be laughing. I knew it. But no, that's what a lot of people said when I grew it long when I was younger too. But when I was younger, I did keep the top and the sides shorter than it is now. The top would only come down to like about here, and the same with the sides. But that's still not a mullet because it wasn't short, like like almost crew cut in the front and then long in the back. It's just one big poof of hair. Um, but yeah, it's anyway. I'm gonna finish this beer up in a couple sips. I'm not gonna down it. I do have work tomorrow, and I still have at least another beer to have before I go to bed. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me on this. It's been fun. It always is. You know what? I had a tail too when I was in elementary school. My hair had gotten pretty long and it really needed a haircut for a long time, and they were coming out in style at the time amongst the elementary school kids anyway. And I thought, when I got it cut, I told them to leave the tail, and I grew it out. I grew the tail out to be about like that long, and I got teased about it a couple times. So one day I came home and I just grabbed a hold of it, took the scissors, and just cut it off. That was that. But I did have a tail as well. That was not really a good look. Maybe some people can rock it, but I couldn't. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for watching my videos, supporting the channel. You are all awesome. Make sure you go check out my merch shop one more time. There you go. Yourself some Times World gear. And And if you ever have any suggestions or you just want to chat or whatever, you can always send me a message on my Facebook, facebook.com/this is Tom's World. And I'll be up for a chat. And if you have suggestions, that's very awesome. I do take them all very seriously. I may not do them all right away. Sometimes it may be a year. Sometimes it might be a day. But I do look at them all. And all right, well, I guess have a good night, everyone. And make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.